Welcome to the last of the 5 conversations with travel bloggers from Tbex in the Czech Republic. Today we meet Mike Huxley from the Bemused backpacker. My name is Palle Bo, and this is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Meet Palle Bo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world.
My name is Palle Bo, and I'm a long-time radio producer. In 2013, I started planning to become a digital nomad and a full-time traveler. 3 years later, I had sold my house, my car, and all my furniture. And in July 2016, I set out on a quest to visit every country in the world. In this podcast, I'm taking you along on my journey. And I'm sharing my ups and downs and let you listen in to conversations with some interesting people I meet along the way.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Here I am with a guy from England that I met just a few days ago, and even though it's been that brief, I can feel that he's a super nice guy and fun to hang out with, and also he's one of the more professional travel bloggers in this industry. His name is Mike Huxley. He's from the Bemused backpacker, and can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Where do you come from and what's your background?
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Liverpool in England. I've been blogging now for about coming up to 6 years, give or take. So before I was a blogger, I was a nurse for a long time, predominantly emergency nursing, but travel medicine as well. And about 6 years ago I started blogging because it was a way to promote and sell the books that I'd written, because I've always been a writer. I love writing, and blogging has just been a natural sort of progression of that.
This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels around the world. Hotels25.com. It's best price guaranteed. Do you use your background as a nurse in what you do now?
Oh, definitely. Not just as a nurse, but everything that I've done that's led up to this point. I mean, I travelled for a good 10 years before I started blogging. I've been travelling the world for 16 plus years now. So all that travel experience, my career as a nurse, my qualifications and degrees, all of that feeds into what I do now in some way or another, some small ways, some big ways. But the nursing side, very specifically, even though my site's focus is more on gap year travel and independent travel, I also write a lot on travel health, and because of that I also run my own online travel clinic, which is kind of a separate business to the blog, but it's very, very much attached to the brand of my blog as well. It uses the blog as a platform.
A lot of people have said to me, well, I wish I could do what you do, but I have this job. And I've even had a nurse saying, no, I can't do that because I'm a nurse. But it's really any profession. If you really want to, you can make a career out of traveling.
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter what you do, what career you've got, whether it's a low skilled, no qualification job or a very highly skilled, qualified career. You can start writing, you can start blogging, you can start doing anything you want to do, and sometimes you'll use what you did before in an overt way. Sometimes it'll be a little bit more covert, and other times you won't. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing at the moment. If you're thinking of going into blogging, if you're thinking of going into writing, and this goes for anything else that you're thinking of doing in the future, whatever you're dreaming of doing, what you're doing currently shouldn't be a barrier for you to start doing it now.
What was the turning point for you? When did you get the idea, okay, maybe this can be a full-time job?
I don't think there was one specific turning point. I think, even right at the beginning, when I very first started it, I started it to promote and sell the books that I'd already written.
What are the books about?
I've written quite a few books because I was an author before I was a blogger. I've written my own novel. I've also written a series of travel books as well. Pretty much the same premise as the website. It's gap year advice, information and inspiration. And the site, as I said, it grew out of that to some extent. And as it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger, I started earning a little bit more money. I sold more books. The site itself started making me money, and that just grew and grew and grew. And I think maybe it was about my third year, I started making quite a fair income from it. So it was then that I started diversifying a little bit, making more income streams through the blog, making it more tangible as a business. And then as that itself grew, it did get to the point where I was earning as much from the blog as I was from going out and working full-time as a nurse. And that's the point where I started to sort of pull back on the nursing side and put more effort and more time into the blog, and then eventually, of course, that kept on growing, and then I ended up leaving nursing almost completely.
But you don't travel full time. You're married. You still live in England, but you travel quite a lot.
Yeah, I still travel a good 6 or 7 months of the year, but I have a base back at home as well, where I spend the rest of the year at home. And it's not always in big chunks, so I don't stay home for a few months and then travel for the rest of the year. Sometimes I travel short trips, and then I'll come home for a bit, and then I might go away and travel for a month or two, then I'll come home for a bit, or I might travel for a long time and then still come back home at the end of it. But it's nice to have that balance of settled home life and the freedom to travel whenever and wherever I want. And it's also nice to have the blog, which gives me the power to do that, because I'm beholden to no one. I don't have a boss. I don't have a job that I have to clock into every Monday morning. So it's nice to be able to just get up and go when I want and just have that freedom, but then come home as well. It's nice.
And I guess when you're home, in the periods you are home, that's when you do a lot of the writing from the trips you've been on.
Yeah.
Or do you just hang in a hammock and relax?
No, it's a little bit of both. I've always believed in a work-life balance, even when I wasn't blogging, when I was a nurse, which seems like a weird thing for a nurse to say, because it's one career where they try not to give you one. But I've always believed in a work-life balance where you do as much work as you need to do, but you rest and enjoy life as well. And if one or the other gets too much, then it becomes a problem either way. But if you've got a nice balance, which I like to think I do, life's pretty good.
You have a huge following. You're the biggest travel blogger in the UK, as far as I know, and this is truly a job for you. You make money on that. Can you tell us how do you do that?
Well, I don't think I'm the biggest. I'm sure there's a ton of bloggers a lot bigger than me, but I do have a fair following, and it's absolutely, definitely a job. This is my business. This is my career now, and I earn quite a bit of money from it. I'm not wanting to sound big-headed when I say that, but I earn far more now than I used to do as a nurse, and I do that in a lot of different ways, really. Because the thing is, with a blog as a business, your blog is your platform. it's your base, and from that you can...
It's a medium.
Yeah, exactly. And from that you can have so many levels with so many different income streams coming into each one. So, for example, a lot of people use like affiliates and Mediavine and things like that. I personally don't use those myself because I don't need to. I don't like the way all the ads make your site look, but it's a good income stream for a lot of people. Myself personally, I use things like, I have a lot of services on my site, like I do sponsored posts, brand sponsorships, brand ambassadorships, I'll sell them advertisements, I can do content creation for brands, but working with brands and DMOs, there are so many ways. Destination marketing organisations, basically the people who look after destinations. So tourism boards come under that. So working with all those people, there are so many ways you can create content, create value for them, and use your blog as a platform for them to reach your target audience. You can earn so much money from all those different ways of doing that. And then of course on top of that as well, I sell my own products. I still sell my books, they still sell well every month. I sell my own branded t-shirts, and then of course there's the online travel clinic as well, and I also do travel safety consultation services for travellers who are a little bit afraid of going travelling as well. So there's so many diverse income streams, and some of them earn better than others, but they all add up.
You are listening to the Radio Vagabond podcast. If you like what you hear, please leave a review in iTunes. If you're listening on an iPhone, you can actually do it right there within your podcast app. And now, back to the show. Where did you get that skill? Because I guess you didn't go to business school. You went to medical school, and how did you get the business skills?
It's a little bit of it has been a steep learning curve. I mean, starting a blog, especially as a one-man band, you do everything yourself, and the sort of technical side of things has been a massive learning curve for me. But that's been learning little bit by little bit over time, and it's slowly added up. The same thing with the business side of it. You know, I've learned better ways of doing things. I've done things by trial and error. Some things haven't worked, some things have, so I've put more effort into that. And it's been a little bit of a process in that respect, but I think a lot of it as well was emulating really successful people that I admired and respected, and who had gone out there and created their own business from scratch, and we're earning a lot of money from it. You know, I sort of tried to stay out of the blogger bubble a little bit, and I didn't do a lot of the things that so many other bloggers were doing. I tried to do the things that, you know, online businesses were doing, because at the end of the day, they were the ones who were making money. Bloggers weren't. So why would I follow their model? You know. But there was also, I think, what helped me a lot was the professionalism that my previous career had sort of instilled in me, and I brought a lot of that into the blogging side of it as well. So being professional, acting professionally, that has really helped me get to the point where I am.
You did a talk at TBEX here in the Czech Republic, and you're also you're in a panel at the TBEX Travel Bloggers Conference in North America in a month's time. The one you did here, tell me about that one.
Well, basically it was about how to turn your blog into a business, and I gave some practical steps on how people could do that, who maybe they're just starting out, maybe they've been doing it a little bit but they want to take that next step up. So I gave like some practical tips on how to do that, things like how to, when you work with a brand, how to write and set a contract between the two of you yourself, how to decide what to charge and the process that you have to go through when you're making your price list and things like that. But the fundamental aim of the talk, from my perspective, was to try and change people's perspectives on travel blog and try and change the paradigms and the way they think about the whole blogging world, because I think the blogging world at the moment is in serious trouble. It's floundering and it needs to change, and I think trying to change people's mindsets to stop thinking of blogging as a hobby or a sideline, to stop thinking of it as something that they can get freebies out of, and the pinnacle of what a blog can do is maybe get a few quid off Mediavine and then you can go and grab a freebie off a brand or a free press trip. Blogs are bigger than that, they're better than that, and bloggers have to be bigger and better. And it's trying to make people think about treating it as a fully fledged business, treating it in the same way that the traditional media would treat a newspaper or a TV station would treat a program. You know, it's something that can be so huge. Blogs are the new media, and it's about time we started using the power that we've got with those blogs, treating them like a business and turning them into real careers.
So it's basically a lot of bloggers, they get the opportunity to go on a free press trip, but you're saying they should also get paid a salary to do that?
Not necessarily in that way. It's about stop seeing it as getting a free trip. There's nothing is ever free, because the money that DMOs and destination marketing organisations and tourism boards spend to bring a blogger out, but what bloggers give them in return, you know, social media, the posts that they give them, video, that is worth a lot of money as well. So it's not about earning a salary, it's about knowing your worth as a blogger, knowing your product's worth, and then saying to brands and DMOs, okay, this is a product, this is a service that I can give you. If you want me to come out and market your brand, your product, your destination, whatever it is, then you will pay me the rate that is worth to do that. And I think there's a huge reluctance for some reason in the blogging world to do that. They're sort of scared of it. It's like money is a dirty word or something. It's like, why shouldn't I expect the products and services and the work that I do to be worth something? Because it is. You know, the traditional media know that, the media agencies know that, the PR agencies, the marketing agencies, they all know that. They know how much the products that we've got are worth. They're just taking advantage of us at the moment and getting it for free. And what I'm saying is we should know the worth of that and charge accordingly, because that's what a business is. The first rule of business is to make money. You know, it's not there to get a free trip.
That was it. 5 days with 5 interesting conversations. Well, I hope you agree. If you're thinking about becoming a travel blogger, I can really recommend that you go to a conference like the one in the Czech Republic. It's called TBEX, and typically they do 3 conferences a year. Actually, I'm going to one more TBEX, this time in North America, in a month's time. And then there's also Nomadic Matt's conference TravelCon, that's been held for the first time in Austin, Texas. And then there's Travers that I attended in Rotterdam a few months ago. You'll find links to these conferences on theradiovagabond.com. Mike, what's the future for you? Do you see it? How are you gonna keep traveling until you cannot walk anymore, or?
Hell yeah. The future for me is to still keep growing my travel blog and my travel business. It's to still earn money from it and maybe write a few more books, create more products, basically just grow as a business and a brand. But personally, hell yeah, I'll keep traveling. You know, I've been traveling since I can remember. There's no way I'm going to stop. There is no way in hell I'm letting myself get so old and decrepit, I end up in a nursing home staring at a wall, not being able to do anything. There is no way I will stop travelling. I will travel the world until I can't anymore, then I will walk into the ocean, and that'll be it.
Next Monday, we're back to normal. I continue my journey, and now I'm heading south to Nicaragua, and I'm so looking forward to that. My name is Palle Bo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya!